Napoleon, the man who changed Europe forever. Imagine a man so brilliant in battle, so feared by kings, and so loved by millions, that even after his fall, the map of Europe could never return to what it once was. This man wasn't born a king. He wasn't born into power. But through genius, ambition, and the chaos of revolution, he rose from a small island in the Mediterranean to become the Emperor of France and the master of nearly all of Europe. His name? Napoleon Bonaparte. But who was he really? A tyrant or a liberator? A genius or a madman? Why do his laws still shape modern legal systems? Why do generals still study his battles in military academies? And how did one man reshape the fate of a continent forever? In this video, we'll journey through his rise, his rule, and his ruin, to uncover how Napoleon changed Europe forever. Stay with us, because this is more than just history. This is the story of how one man bent the world to his will, and left a legacy that still echoes in every corner of Europe today. 1. Historical background before Napoleon. Europe in the late 18th century was dominated by powerful monarchies: France, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. Society was rigidly divided into classes, and power was concentrated in the hands of a few elites. However, the French Revolution in 1789 shattered this order, abolishing the monarchy and triggering a wave of political and social upheaval. The revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity ignited hopes and fears across the continent. As France descended into chaos, it became a breeding ground for new political forces and military leaders. Monarchs around Europe feared the spread of revolution and formed coalitions to stop it. Amidst this turmoil, the foundations were laid for the rise of an ambitious young Corsican officer, Napoleon Bonaparte. 2. Napoleon, the Corsican outsider. Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica shortly after its annexation by France, Napoleon Bonaparte was a product of both cultural pride and political transformation. Although from a minor noble family, he was seen as an outsider in French elite circles due to his Corsican accent and modest background. Nevertheless, he excelled in military academies, demonstrating exceptional intellect, discipline, and a fascination with classical history and warfare. Napoleon rose quickly through the military ranks during the French Revolution, benefiting from the departure of aristocratic officers. His early life reveals a complex personality, introspective, fiercely ambitious, and devoted to the idea of meritocracy. These traits would shape his leadership style and his belief in reshaping the social and political landscape of Europe. 3. Napoleon's rise as a young general. Napoleon's meteoric rise began with the Italian campaign of 1796 to 1797, where he led French forces against the Austrians. He demonstrated strategic brilliance, outmaneuvering larger armies, capturing territories, and establishing client republics. His success made him a national hero. The Egyptian campaign of 1798 was militarily less successful, but it boosted his political profile and allowed him to portray himself as a defender of Enlightenment ideals. Upon returning to France, he seized the moment during political instability and staged a coup d'état in 1799, becoming first consul. His ability to capitalize on military victories and public perception set the stage for his transformation from general to ruler. 4. From consul to emperor. As first consul, Napoleon centralized power and restored stability. In 1804, he crowned himself emperor, symbolizing that his authority came not from the Pope, but from his own merit and popular support. He introduced the Napoleonic Code, which reformed the legal system by ensuring equality before the law, property rights, and civil liberties. These laws became the model for legal systems across Europe. Napoleon also restructured the educational system, the economy, and civil administration, reinforcing his control. By consolidating revolutionary gains and integrating them into an imperial structure, he appealed to both conservatives and revolutionaries, presenting himself as the guardian of order and progress. 5. Military campaigns in European dominance. Napoleon's military campaigns reshaped Europe. His victories at Austerlitz, 1805, Jena, 1806, and Wagram, 1809, dismantled old alliances and led to the rise of new client states. The Confederation of the Rhine, the Kingdom of Italy, and others expanded French influence. Napoleon used military might and diplomacy to install relatives and loyalists as rulers. Despite his success, constant warfare strained French resources. His ambitions alarmed rival powers, eventually leading to renewed coalitions. Nonetheless, for nearly a decade, Napoleon stood as the unchallenged master of continental Europe, dictating treaties and redrawing borders at will. 6. Reforms and lasting impact on Europe. Napoleon's influence went beyond the battlefield. His reforms dismantled feudal structures, promoted secular governance, and supported the rise of the middle class. The Napoleonic Code, still in use in many countries, modernized legal thought by replacing privilege with merit. His administrative innovations laid the foundation for modern bureaucratic states. In Germany and Italy, Napoleon's restructuring fostered nationalist sentiments that later inspired unification. By spreading revolutionary ideals, he challenged monarchies and stimulated political change. Even his enemies adopted his reforms, recognizing their efficiency. Napoleon's vision of a rational, centralized, and merit-based society continues to influence European institutions today. 7. Decline and fall. The turning point came with the disastrous Russian campaign in 1812. Harsh winters, scorched earth tactics, and poor logistics led to a devastating retreat, with massive losses. This emboldened Napoleon's enemies. In 1813, the Sixth Coalition defeated him at Leipzig. By 1814, Allied forces captured Paris, and Napoleon abdicated, exiled to Elba. He returned for the 100 Days in 1815, but suffered a final defeat at Waterloo. Exiled to St. Helena, he spent his last years writing memoirs and reflecting on his legacy. Though physically isolated, his ideas and reforms had already taken root across Europe, proving harder to defeat than the man himself. 8. A legacy that shaped the world. Napoleon's legacy is a paradox. A conqueror who spread the principles of revolution, a self-made emperor who championed meritocracy. His influence on legal codes, statecraft, military strategy, and national identity is profound. Many European nations adopted his systems of administration and law. Military academies still study his campaigns for their tactical brilliance. He inspired both admiration and fear, becoming a symbol of ambition and leadership. Across the world, leaders would compare themselves to Napoleon. Some in aspiration, others in warning. Europe's transformation in the 19th century was, in large part, shaped by his reign. Love him or loathe him, Napoleon changed the course of history forever. From the ashes of revolution, Napoleon rose not only to rule but to transform. He tore down ancient orders and built new institutions. He redrew borders, rewrote laws, and reimagined power, all in less than 2 decades. Whether you see him as a visionary or a villain, one truth remains: Europe was never the same after Napoleon. And neither is our world today. If you found this journey through history as thrilling as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Napoleon Footsteps. Leave a comment below. Was Napoleon a hero or a tyrant in your eyes? And which part of his story should we uncover next? This is just the beginning of walking in the footsteps of Napoleon.